Welcome everyone to the Technical Steering Committee of the EVerest project. We have to show you this antitrust policy for a moment because there could be competitors in the meeting. So let's get started. Let's have a short look at the agenda. We'll first talk a little bit about what's EVerest, a quick recap and an introduction to what it is. If you have been to the last TSCs, then you can directly jump to point 2, what's new, where we discuss what we have developed in the last month. Then we have a look at what's next, what we're going to develop next. And then it's time for your requests and feedback and discussions. So let's have a small introduction to what is EVerest actually. We are part of the Linux Foundation Energy, in which there are several projects working on the green transition of the electricity grid. These are all open source software projects, and we are listed down here. We are the gateway to the electric vehicle, and we run on the charging station. Why do we do it? Because it's a really fragmented industry in this charging infrastructure. There are a lot of players around. You have charging providers, you have car manufacturers, backend providers, payment providers, and this leads to a lot of challenges. So there are often inefficiencies or problems with public chargers, which leads to poor customer experience. And these are the problems that we want to solve with the EVerest project. So EVerest runs on your charger. It can run on different hardware, and it also runs on different hardware today. It is a modularized framework where we have like different modules for different protocols or for different hardware devices. And it is a holistic approach to tackle all the problems and requirements of a modern charging station. So we want to provide software for all the communication protocols around, for OCPP, for ISO 15118, but also support different hardware devices like different meters, energy management systems, RFID readers, and stuff like that. So in order to do this, EVerest also connects to multiple energy services. So we want to connect to the electricity grid, to home solar and batteries, and other home consumption devices. Also to clouds, as I mentioned, for the OCPP communication, for example. And of course, a big part of the project is also to communicate with cars using all the existing standards and protocols around. And we can definitely not fix it by adding just another standards, because there are lots of standards already around. What we want to try is to have a holistic approach and to implement all the standards so that we have a standard compliant open source implementation that serves as a de facto standard. There is also reference hardware that we provide, which you can use to get started with EVerest. As I said before, EVerest runs on different hardware, but you can use this to get started and to play around with it a little bit. Those are some of the manufacturers that on which hardware EVerest already runs. So to name a few, Phytech, Texas Instrument, and ChargeByte, and there are definitely more to come. This picture shows a little bit the landscape of EVerest, or like companies and organizations EVerest is connected to. We work together with component suppliers like Firetech and Texas Instruments and ChargeByte, and also with charging station manufacturers and e-mobility service providers, and also with like academia for research projects and developments of modules that run within EVerest. And now I will head over to Kai, who will tell you what is new and what has been developed in the last month.
All right. Yeah. So, we talked about this last time already, that we started the implementation of OCPP 2.0.1. There's already a basic setup for OCPP 2.0.1 available. We have started the basic implementation of a module that pretty much implements the whole provisioning functional block. And on OCPP 1.6, we've also continued working on the plug-and-charge support. And for the whole OCPP library, there's some more session logging available now. Next slide, please. And for the ISO 15118 development, there has been an extension for the ISO 15118 charger and the EVSE manager interfaces for the aforementioned plug-and-charge support. There's also plug-and-charge support implemented within our PyJoseph and FC manager modules, and the software in the loop simulation will be extended to support plug-and-charge later on as well.
Right, from the chargebyte contributions, the FCV2G, the integration of the chargebyte stack. Previously, as we reported in the last TSC, it was running against the software in a loop on a normal PC environment. Now the EVerest stack with this integration has been brought up on our own hardware on the Charge Control C, and going even forward, we put the software into one of our wall boxes and successfully charged an actual vehicle with that, with AC ISO 15118. So that's going forward real well. That looks like that's working as expected. Also, in the meantime, the new EXE codec, at least the app handshake part, was already experimentally integrated to check for regressions. That was pretty simple to do, and no problems occurred there. Next slide, please.
Mm-hmm.
On the EXE codec generator, we're still working on getting rid of some of the shortcomings which lead to incorrect grammar interpretation, meaning we cannot decode certain structures and certain messages right now because we're doing stuff incorrectly. So we had to look at the standards a little bit more, and the analysis of the schema had to we had to enhance our internal data types for that, and are working on creating the grammar for that. Once this is done, we should at least be able to, or when all these shortcomings have been eliminated, we should be able to decode all DIN and ISO-2 messages. Still working on the encoder right now. We're preparing to go public. There's still some discussion about publicity and library name, and we need to merge some things before. That will happen in the next few weeks, perhaps even next week. Let's see. And our next steps right now is to discuss and merge this refactoring. There's been some ongoing stuff to rework some of the internals of the generator and of the library that comes out. Then of course the step to go public, as I just mentioned. The encoder needs to be extended, as the decoder already has been. It should be a little bit quicker because the decoder had to go through all the existing bugs in the analysis and in the grammar. And then at the same time, while extending the encoder, we'll do more experiments with the actual -20 schemas and see how the code looks that comes out for that, and whether we can already perhaps decode some existing streams we have. that will be going on in parallel in the next few weeks and looking well for achieving some results here. Okay.
All right, and then for some more news over the on the EVerest side of things, the EVerest framework has been extended with a standard telemetry interface. This is completely opt-in for all modules and all configurations, and this telemetry interface allows modules to report some telemetry data about themselves to a common topic structure that you can then analyze and maybe even mirror to some external services. First usage of this telemetry interface has been implemented in the EVSE manager as well as the Yeti simulator and driver. And here it's used to report session events, some statistics about internal components, and power meter data. Next slide, please. For the documentation, Andreas has been hard at work here. The PDF builds of the documentation are now available. The GitHub workflow has also been improved to have version mapping between repositories, which leads to us having actually deployed different versions of the documentation now, and to basically improve all of these things. The modularity of the things elements had to be improved, and so now we have documentation that should work very well for the new release structure that we're having. Next slide, please. And speaking of releases, we just released the source code of our February 2023 release for EVerest Core, and yeah, just a few highlights of this release. The plug-and-charge interface has been extended. The packet sniffer module that we talked about last time has been added, and there have been some minor fixes for DC, as well as the telemetry I just talked about, and the OCPP 2.0.1 module now also subscribes to the EVSE manager session events. Next slide. As we talked about last time, we had a talk at FOSDEM early February, and it was in this energy dev room that the LF Energy organized, and it was a great success, I would say. The room was always pretty full of people, lots of interest, a lot of very interesting discussions over there, and we also gave a talk there, and the recording of that is already available under that link. All right, that's it from my side.
Okay, thank you. So let's have a short look at what is next. This is a high-level view on the EVerest roadmap. So we are quite close to finish up OCPP Plug&Charge, maybe by the end of March. We will see how we can have progress there. Then probably a little bit more time needs to be considered for OCPP 2.0.1, but we have started with it, and we have decided to implement it functional block by functional block. Right now, we have started with the basic implementation that is mentioned in the introduction document, and we'll move forward there from month to month. Then there's going to be a C++ based version of the ISO 15118-2 and the DIN 70121 by chargebyte. And there will be a C++ based XE parser, which was introduced already by Moritz. And what we are currently working on already is the advanced energy management, and like to extend it and connect it to what we already have. And we will consider to implement OpenADR, EEBus, and of course also the ISO 15118-20. There are two upcoming events that I would like to mention. We will test OCPP again at the Plugfest in Arnheim. We will test OCPP 1.6 with all the feature profiles and the security white paper, and if possible, also plug-and-charge there. And there will be a plug-and-charge test event in Berlin, which we will use to test the implementation we are recently working on. The next TSC will be on the 23rd of March. Also feel free to join our weekly public development call, which is Tuesdays from 10 to 11. And don't forget to subscribe to the mailing list as well. So now we can stop recording, I guess, and head over to the discussion.